Sripada Srivallabha Charithamrutham, Chapter 22, Part 2. Sripada is highly skillful. During the Mahalaya Paksha, both Sri Sresti and Bappanaraya forgot about the promise. In the afternoon of Mahalaya Amavasya, Sri Sresti came to the house of Sri Bappanaraya. Sripada smiled, said, if promise is made, then it should be kept. If promise that was made is forgotten, at least the one who received the promise must be reminded about it. I demand an explanation from both of you. Then both of them realized their mistakes. This incident shows that Sripada is much capable of making people aware as he is equally capable of making them forget. Both of them were sorry for their mistakes. He consoled them by saying, my role is involved in bringing forgetfulness in both of you. In every human being there is I am, and I am in the form of consciousness. A living being derives not only the body but also the I am consciousness from the parents. From this I am consciousness there is an ordinary duty, karma, which is a part of the universal plan. This is the bond of karma that comes in succession from the father to the son and from the son to his son and so on. Only when the order of aesthetism is taken up after leaving the order of an householder, a release from the bond of karma can take place. The promise that you both made needed to be fulfilled with this name and form. This promise is being transferred to the consciousness called I am, the greater ego. Therefore, at some place, at some other time, a person from the lineage of Sri Bappanaraya can eat and receive dakshina from the house of any person belonging to the lineage of Sri Sresti during the Mahalaya Paksha. You should not ask me when, how, and in what manner it will happen. The form of karma is very difficult to comprehend and is very subtle. For certain actions, the physical time and the related yogic time may vary. According to the physical time, this promise has to be kept during these Mahalaya Pakshas only. However, since the associated yoga time did not arrive, the action is pushed into a distant future. Sripada spoke to both of them beneficially. Then I asked Sri Bhatt, explain me in detail about the physical time and the yoga time, about which Sripada told them. Then Sri Bhatt said, along with the physical time and the physical place, there is also mental time and mental space together. Together with them, there is a yoga time and a yoga space. Suppose a person is aged 60 years, but if he is constantly in pursuit of education like a 20-year-old, then his physical time indicates 60 years. That relates to his body. However, his mental age is regarded as 20 years. Similarly, if a youth aged 20 years is shouldering a load of responsibility of a 60-year-old man, then his physical age indicates 20 years. This relates to his body, but his mental age is considered as 60 years. In this way, there is no rule that the physical time and the mental time should be the same. They may be different. Whoever constantly feels eager mentally in life in Kashi or Pitikapuram will derive the fruits of the resident in Kashi or Pitikapuram, even if the body is at a particular place but his mind does not dwell there. Then the fruits of the resident in that place cannot be obtained. If a person has a strong mental desire and constantly thinks, I am going to a pilgrimage to Kashi, I will reside in Kashi, then he will get the benefit of residing in Kashi. The reason for this is that he mentally resides in Kashi only. Therefore, regardless of which country he physically lives in, his mental country would be Kashi only. Similarly, a person who kills a cow while living in Kashi will not get the advantage of physical residing in Kashi. Cranes standing in waters of Ganga rivers while watching to catch a fish will not get the merit of taking a bath in Ganga river. Likewise, even though one lives in Pitikapuram and visits Sripada physically, he cannot and resident of Pitikapuram or as a devotee of Sripada unless his mental time and a mental place is appropriately tuned. Matters relating to yogic time and the yoga space can only be comprehended by a person of great spiritual strength. How the divine grace of Sripada results in somebody being granted the yoga time and the yoga space is divine secret. Man has the authority to execute the actions. Comforts from good action and misers from bad action invariably follow as result. Even though bonds of karma from the past lives follow us as and pesters us, yoga time comes about from the compassion of Satguru. When that yoga time comes, whenever karma that needed to be redeemed in the place will be redeemed in that yoga space. This is a strange matter. In Pitikapuram, there was a servant called Shivaya with Sri Narasimhavarma. Sripada suddenly saw him one day with inert look. Immediately, there was a lot of change in his mental makeup. He abandoned food and sleep. He started speaking incoherently. I am the cause for the creation, administration, and destruction. I am the ancient one and the original. All this creation is originating in me, developing by me, and again merging in me. Sri Narasimha Varma took lot of pity on Shivaya. He prayed that Sripada to save Shivaya. Then Sripada took Shivaya to the burial ground. Sri Narasimha Varma also followed him. Dried sticks of Audambara tree were arranged in the burial ground, and Shivaya was made to burn them. Shivaya was freed from the curious mental disposition. All this appeared strange to Narasimha Varma. Then Sripada said, Grandpa, this is nothing to wonder. A Pandit in Vaishwapura Agraharam was always criticizing me with a great offense. Where is Paramatma, the personification of Vedas? Where is the young unchurned Sripada? It is said that this boy is the cause for creation, substance and destruction, and that he is the origin of the yor. That is all a fraud and branded lie. He had this sort of constant. That Pandit died recently. He became a ghost. In one of his lives, Shivaya was slightly indebted to that Pandit. I created yoga time to decide the burner ground as the yoga space. I arranged the funeral with Audambar sticks as yoga karma and released the Pandit from the life of the ghost. I rescued Shivaya from the ghost. My dear Shankar Bhatt, this great efficiency, the light of Dharma incarnated in Pitikapuram, is today sanctifying Karangudda. Planets give reasons following the will of Sripada. Any kind of astrological results that are bound to occur are specified physical time and physical place that will be decided according to the yoga time and the yoga space. Sripada can show grace and advent accumulated fate and even death. If Sripada wills, he can make incident happen not that are to happen in the future after thousands of years according to the astrological signs. An event that has to occur at a distance will take place here if he wills. That means he can determine the yoga space. Events take place at a particular place at a particular time. Sripada can alter these places at times at his pleasure. Once when a coconut was to be broken before the god in the house of Srishti, Sripada personally broke it. The coconut was broken into pieces. It was full of blood. Then Sripada said to Srishti, Grandfather, you are to die today. Your heart is to be broken into pieces and blood is to flow. I transferred that space and time into the coconut and saved you. Sri Srishti was astonished at the words of Sripada. In the meantime, dusk had set in. The three of us took leave from Sripada and, leaving Karangudda, reached the opposite bank of Krishna river. Here we come to end of chapter 22 of Sripada Srivallabha Charithamrutham. Chapter 23, Part 1, Explanation of Esoteric Significance of Shiva Worship. The greatness of a Shiva Yogi's devotion, the teachings of Sripada to him. When I was about to move from the opposite bank of Krishna river to Karangudda, I came across a noble Vaishya named Dharmagupta. He was also coming to Karangudda for the darshan of Sripada. But during the conversation, I learnt that he was related to Sripinda Venkatappa Sresti of Pitikapuram. There was no end to my astonishment. All the devotees of Sripada Srivallabha I met thus far narrated his divine history, sportive plays, miracles and amazing incidents. There is a speciality in the wonderful incidents they narrated. Each of them told only a few incidents that happened in a particular year of Sripada's life. Those incidents are not related to each other and they appear to be a wonder of wonders. They were very strange matters unheard of by me till then. Till now I was taught by his devotees about his divine plays in an orderly way, covering a period of 10 years in the life of Sripada. I thought Dharmagupta may narrate some events that took place in the 11th year of Sripada. Sripada does his sportive pastimes every moment. In the meanwhile, Dharmagupta began to narrate. Sri Shankar Bhatt, I am a devotee of Shiva. When Sripada was 11 years old, a Shiva yogi came to Pitikapuram. He was a worthy man. He used to collect alms in his hands. He did not have any bag, plate or any vessel with him. He appeared to be a lunatic to the onlookers. He first came to the temple of Sri Kukateshwara. On seeing his mad appearance and dust-coated figure, the temple priest did not allow him to enter into the temple. He was an avaduta without body consciousness. He was repeatedly chanting the Shiva Panchakshari mantra. I was going to the house of Sripinda Venkatappa Sresti, riding a horse. Sripinda Venkatappa Sresti was related to me as a brother-in-law. I was in a habit of visiting Sri Kukateshwara temple on my way. As I was a prominent Vaishya, the priest in the temple performed a grand puja in my name on that day. My habit was to give them liberal sambhavanas. I gave 5 varaha to the priest as sambhavana. They distributed it among themselves. They submitted their financial difficulties, troubles and problems to me. They affirmed that the support of the noble Vaishyas like me was essential for the protection of Sanatan Dharma. Suddenly the Shiva Yogi came in rushing into the temple like a blowing wind. Along with him 2 cobras also entered the temple. On seeing this, the priest started sweating profusely with fear. The Shiva Yogi said, "You priest, don't be afraid. These are ornaments for Kukateshwara, whom we adore. These cobras are eager to embarrass Kukateshwara just as children desire to embarrass their fathers. They are like our brothers. It is a great sin to fear, to run away or to kill our brothers on seeing them. They are attracted here by the special puja performed by the priest. Let us worship Kukateshwara, who wears serpents as ornaments, with more care and diligence. Sing Namaka and Chamaka with good voice and good melody." The priests were at loss for what to do. The priest had some psychopaths among them. They used to say many words of flattering to please a rich person among devotees, provided they gave generous donations to the priest. One of the priests in Pritikapuram, named Surya Chandra Shastri, was not only a good scholar but also a sincere and strict observer of religious ceremonies. He had great devotion towards Sripada. He remembered Sripada and began to recite Namaka and Chamaka with a good voice and a good melody. The visiting cobras also waved their hoods in tune with the melodious rhythm and displayed their happiness. Surya Chandra Shastri brought the Shiva Yogi to the house of Pappanaraya. A spirituous meal was given to the satisfaction of the Shiva Yogi. Afterwards, the Shiva Yogi had darshan of Sripada. Sripada granted him a vision of Shiva Shakti Swarupa. The Shiva Yogi was in a state of samadhi for 3 days. After 3 days, Sripada fed the Shiva Yogi food with his divine hands. Then he explained very cynically, "My dear, perform the religious rituals mentioned in the Sanatan Dharma and be liberated. Contents of Puranas is neither friction nor lies. The general meaning of Purana is different from the secret hidden meaning. Only for those spiritual aspirants who observe rigorous spiritual discipline, the inner meaning and profound esoteric secrets of the Puranas will flash in their mental horizon. Among the sun and the moon, who cause seasons, the sun represents the Supreme Self and the moon represents the mind. Only when the effulgence of sun representing the super self and the moon representing the mind combine, the activity of creation occurs. Amavasya stand for illusions. This Maya at first creates potencies called Vasus by adding degree of light in the moon and again merging them in itself. Maya, just as Maya is transmitting the efficacy of Paramatma into the form of the mental moon, the rays of the sun are transmitted into the moon. Even though Maya and Amavasya are inert forms, the world that originated on account of them has a combine of intellect and inert traits due to its nearness to the intellect influence. Just as the spring season is the basis of sprouting in the nature's cycle, a woman's menstrual cycle is the basis for birth of children. The desire of Brahmagyan will only exist in the pregnancy that originated from a female. The menstrual circle in the female is said to be opposing Brahma, the creator. So, it is said by the Pandits that it was generated by killing Brahma. As the secrets of Vedas are shrouded in Chandus, they are called as Chandasa. Since the cycle is not straight, it has a crooked quality to it. A woman in her menstrual cycle is kept at a distance for 3 days. Heaven is a luscious sphere having a natural brilliance. The earth of the mortals is a place of death and birth. All the neighborhoods are illuminated by the sunlight. Therefore, they are called as Prushuns. All the 7 netherworlds have divine potencies like Jataveda and others. The earth where we live in is before the 7 netherworlds. Fire is the preceding deity. All the 8 divine potencies are called Ashtavasus. They are called Vasus because they get light from sun. The airy space between these 8 spheres are called the 7 seas. Sage Yacha remarked that air is also symbolized as sea. Ordinary person considers 7 seas in form of water, but it is not correct. We shall continue from here in the next episode. Om Sai Ram.